to CSS and HTML, you are in the right place right now to learn these two technologies of HTML and CSS. So before we move on, please like this video, share with friends, and subscribe to my channel to get other future videos, especially part 2 of this project. Today we're looking at part 1 of this project, which is going to be on HTML and CSS, and then part 2 of making this dynamic clock handles movement will be dynamically created by JavaScript. So to get those future notifications, don't forget to smash that like, subscribe button in order for you to get notified. So without wasting time, let's jump right into our Visual Studio Code and start our coding. So as you can see, I'm a big fan of Visual Studio Code. This program is an open source where you can download it for free, and it has some cool features. Like when you look at here, we have some color. If you hover over, you have some tip here of having this wheel. Here you can scroll down to get opacity or transparency. This wheel here you can scroll around to get some color of your choice, and here you can vary the color. Without wasting time, we're all going to have all this discussed step by step for easy learning of these step rules in CSS. So let's jump into our section here. This is the file section. As you can see, we have icon file here. Now we can create a new file from this icon by clicking, and an empty space will be given here for you. Here let's write the name of our file, which is the HTML. Now we'll have here index.html. This one is an extension to give us the document. As you can see here, we have created our HTML, so we can enter to create our document. So immediately it will prompt us to write our HTML, and before we write, we need to create some more spacing here by hiding out this file tree. Click on this and the whole thing is gone. We have some keyboard shortcut where you press Ctrl plus letter B to open it up. Also you press Ctrl plus letter B to close it, and you can see I can tangle this to have our enough space here for recording. So the first thing, we need to create some skeleton of this HTML by pressing Ctrl and 1 to create this. So this is Emmet abbreviation, where we get some shortcuts to write small CSS style and have some more work for productivity to be perfect. So here we have already created the skeleton of our HTML, and then up at this head tag, you can see this is the parent for this tags, meta tag, and the title. So we can right away give a title for our project, and you can just say classic analog blog. Now after having that we can create another file, and this file is going to be also here CSS, where we also click to our new file and we give it a name of style.css, and you can see here we have the icon for CSS, and just enter to create this new file. And we need to connect these files together. One of these files is our HTML, and the other one here is the CSS. So we come and open our HTML file, and within the head section, after our heading, we create a link. Now after writing link, we're using this image abbreviation, and just click by pressing a tab key, and we're here. So let's write the name of our file we're connecting, which is the CSS, within this href attribute. So we could write, and you can see it is right here. We can click at this and have it connected. So one of the things you also need to see here is, if you see this round circle around, it tells us that we need to save this document, and then let's save it by using keyboard shortcut of pressing Ctrl+S, and right away you can see we have a little cross around here, meaning our document has been saved already. Now we really don't have anything here yet, and one of the important things with VS Code is an extension called live server. This live server extension would allow us to have our work refresh directly by the time you save your changes you have just created in your document. So without wasting time, let's open up this document here in our browser, and by right clicking, and then we select open with live server. For me, I've already downloaded it and installed in my machine. You can also do the same to follow along with me. So let's click here, and automatically our page has been opened. Our finished project is around here. As you can see, let me walk you through our finished project. We have here a title, a little handle here. We pretend to have something of hanging it around somewhere, and then our main clock. So when you look at down here, we have some shadow. Somebody's wondering how this shadow is created. I'm going to show for you step by step on how this shadow is created. So all these elements, we need to create it in the body style. So without wasting time, let's come to the body, opening tag and closing tag, and I am going to create a div, and inside this div we're going to give it a class. So since we're developing a clock, I'm just going to use the div with a class of clock, so that it is easy and rhymes with what exactly I'm trying to do. So one of the shortcuts to create div is by pressing dot, and you write the class. So we're going to say clock, and you press tab key, and our div is created. Now what do you want in this div? The first thing we need to create is also another div inside here, and that div is going to be for the handle. So what is that handle? The handle is going to be but before we continue here, let me create some heading, because we need to start from top and coming down. So let's have some div that contains this title of classic analog clock. So we're going to have it in class of heading. We press tab, and we're here. So inside this div, we're going to provide h1, and we press tab. So we have h1 created for us here. So we can write our heading saying classic analog clock. Now having done that, when we come back here to our file, for now it is empty, but I've just written something here. When we refresh, our extension will automatically load up our page, and clearly we can see our heading classic analog clock. So we just written it inside this HTML file. So having done that, we have already created our heading, and we can go ahead and create some element inside this container called clock. Now what do we have inside here? We are going to have this little handle, and this little handle is going to be also in terms of a div with a class of handle. We press tab and there's nothing inside there, so what happens is we are just going to leave it like that, and we bring other siblings to this div. And what is the first sibling there? We need to create some div which will be representing these handles also, the hour, and then our seconds, and then the minute here. So let's have this one with a class of, I'm starting with the bigger one, which is the hour clock, the hour handle. So we have dot hour. Now I'm just going to duplicate this by pressing down hour, shift and alt hit plus the down arrow in our mouse side here, and we press 1, 2, where the second one is going to be for a minute, and then our last one is going to be for second. So when we save, there's nothing that happens because those divs are all empty. You will only see them when you give some width and height together with background color to see exactly how these divs we have just created here looks like. So the next from our finished project here is going to be our this image here. I have some PNG image. When you go to our file tree, we open it by having Ctrl B. Then you shall be able to see that we have some image here of clock 6.png. Now you can as well go online and download this image for your project. So let's move on and create this image by having img and press tab. So this attribute here, source, is where we're going to write the name of our image, and I've just seen that it's called clock. Before finishing it up, we have it here already popping up, clock 6.png. So we can click there, and then let's get back to our file and save it to see. So we have some giant image here of this clock. Now we are just going to reduce it down using CSS. So what is the next thing? Let's have a look from our finished project. Now the next thing here is going to be our little shadow, and this shadow is outside this element. So we have to move from this parent element of these siblings here by pressing enter, and have another div created. We can give this one here a class of shadow, so we can say just simply dot shadow, and we also press tab here. I think we are done already with our HTML. So the next one is going to be our CSS. So let us save our work and move on to our CSS. Now in our CSS, we need to have some style reset, and the style reset, there's one general one which will be resetting everything. What is that? It is a star, and this star is obtained at our keyboard by pressing our code. So we give open and close curly brackets, and we're going to have this reset. That what is the main purpose of having this reset? When you look at here, we have some spaces around, and these spaces around here, especially here, when you look at here, we have that space and then another extra space out there. We need to make sure that everything is exactly at the beginning here, and we shall provide the spaces according to our demand here. So with this, the first set that we're going to have margin of 0. Now you can see I'm using some shortcut here, M0, and it's giving us this one here. So when you click, we have that rule already set, and also padding 0, and you can see how important this code editor is. It's really very good and fancy. So let's have some box sizing. This box sizing is helping us when you are measuring length or the width of any div you just created. It will measure exactly. Now let's have it here, border box. Let's adjust up here, and then let's try to save and see. The spaces will just simply disappear from here. Exactly, that's disappeared, and that is a good step. Now before we proceed with the rest, let's also reduce the image here a little bit smaller by having this image img general selection. Since we have only one image in our project here, I'm just going to use this general image tag. In case there are many, you have to also provide some classes, and you go ahead styling them according to their classes, such that one style for one image may not affect the other. Let's move on. Next, we're going to have the width set for our clock, and I'm going to use the width of 280 pixels. That is the width, and we can press down Shift, Alt, and down arrow to duplicate it, and we shall change this one here by having a height. So we have that. Now what happened when I Ctrl S? We have this beautifully positioned with the width and height of 280 pixels. That is great. So the next, we want to provide some font. You know, the default font family here is Times New Roman. I think this is not nice for web. Let's have it another type of font family, and I am having font family of Puffins. So we have here, if you don't have it in your machine, there's no problem. We can give some fallback of sans serif. So sans serif is right there. I think this is there in all machines. So in case if anybody doesn't have this, it will just simply load this one here, because this is there in Google. You can just Google it and download to your machine, or just copy the extension directly to your document, either in our style sheet or HTML, and just find it right there. I think it's looking very classy, so we have it there. So the next thing beside this general reset, we're going to have styling for our body. What do we have in the body section? So we're just going to write the body. In the body section here, we are going to provide something called flexbox. In this flexbox, it will allow us to move any of these elements all over our area or our web page. So we say df starting of this word display flex, and press tab, and then next. When you save it, you realize that the clock will just go to this side and it will just be side by side. So we want it to be aligned vertically, so we can have it another rule also saying flex direction. This one here should be column, and when you save it, it will bounce back to the original position. Now the next one, we would like also to align the whole content here horizontally, and that one is, we say justify content center. So we write the JCC, and you can see our image is really helping us to have this short form, and when we save it, immediately you'll be able to see that our content here will be aligned. I don't know what is happening here, but let's continue. Next is going to be we want to give a height for this, and the importance of having the height here is to center this thing vertically, or to send it in the vertical direction. So we're going to give it align item center first of all, before giving our height, which is this one. And then next is going to be our height, so we can say mean height of 100 view port height, and then let's save and see what is happening. So right away we have our clock, both the heading and our image here centrally located in our web page, which is a very good step. Now when you look around this image, we have something around here. I think it doesn't look nice. We have to remove it. And how do you remove this? We want to provide something called border radius. And what is that border radius does? Let's write it and say border radius. We are going to have it as 50%. And when you save it, we'll just realize that this one was get a very nice clear circle created around here. Today my computer is responding slowly. I don't know what's happening, but we have a border radius of 50. Sorry, I think this one has to be in, this will be here in our image tag, because this one is an image. So let's paste it there and save. Good. So you can see clearly we have our little looking shape there gone. Now next in our list, let's look at the finished product, and here I think let's start styling from our heading here. So somebody will wonder how we came up with this one, or how we come up with here. I think it's very simple. We're not just going to look at how it is going to be really working out, and somewhere there we said it's called heading. So where is this heading located? We have to go back into the index file here and look at our heading, which is this one. Now what happened to this heading here? Within the heading, we have to select this one here by double clicking it and Ctrl C to copy, and we get back into our style sheet. And then perhaps we can give some comment there by pressing down Ctrl Alt and A, and by doing so, Shift Alt A. Now we have some comment created for us there. And what comment are we going to give? So let me give some dotted line here, or an equal sign, to provide something looking nice. So we're looking at heading styles. Now do the same to the other side there by having this thing here also. So what is the importance of this comment? This comment will help us when we come back next time, maybe after 1 month, to see a project again. You'll know which styles are for what here. So I think let us also have this one here. Now remember, we copied our class for the heading, so we're going to paste it here, and since it is a class, we're going to use dot, and we Ctrl V. So it is there already. Let us give some open and close curly bracket to write the set of the rules that we wanted it implemented in our project. So quickly we we'll go ahead and have our heading style. What is it? First of all, how are I going to start styling it? The first thing here, we want to see that the box, which is our div here, is having some color of border around. So let's get back there and say border let's say 4 pixel solid, and then we give a color, and this color is going to be red. So I'm going to use hexadecimal starting with the hash. Now F00, and that is nice red around there. Now when we save it and go back to our project, you realize that we have some border around here. Now I think when we look at this color and then the color of what we had earlier on there is a little bit different. So which color what are we going to use? Instead of using red, let me use some brick red, and it has some code of FF4500. So immediately after writing this, so you can see is a color which is a little bit not really red, but something like an orange, something like the combination. So you can see here clearly. Now again, this we can increase it to make it a little bit bigger, like let's try 6. Now when you come back here, you can see it is tiny, and here we're trying to make it a little bit bigger by increasing good. But when you look at our finished product here, we have some spacing around and we have some rounded corners here. What do we do? So we have to also come back here and say we need some spacing. So the spacing inside this div is referred to as padding. So we write there padding. What is that padding we are providing for this? We are going to give this padding to be having something like 10 pixels, and these 10 pixels here, the first value is always for the vertical, and so the vertical will be the space up and down, then the next one is going to be left and right. So I want to give here around 15. So let's get back here in the set rule and say 15 up. So now having written that, and let's save. We get back our project and see. So when we save, we will see that there's some nice space created inside this div. Then the next thing here is we need also some border radius. And what is that border radius? We want to create a border radius of around, let's say 6. If there is too much, let's just try. Yeah, I think it looks pretty well. Now next, after this border radius, what happens? We need to go inside here again and also see. Remember here we have this beautiful color of this heading of ours, but here we don't have. So let's work on that and say what is really required there. But then you realize that what we are studying here is the housing, and now what is inside here was our heading 1. So we need to go and write this class, and then inside this class we select our heading 1 before we apply our set rule. So inside this heading we are going to give a text shadow. Okay. Now you can see our div has been created here, but it's inside, so we need to push it up and then to cover up this line here, what do? I think we're now free to move this element around this positioning so long it is inside our div of a heading. Now the next one, we're just going to give it top to around negative so that we push it a little bit up. So we say top, and what is that top we're talking about? Is going to be negative around 9 pixels. Let's save and see. Good. So you can see it is already covering, but when you look at our finished product here, we're having this one some distance away from here, but this one is a little bit nearer, meaning we need to push it also towards the end there. And what is it going to be? Going that side is right, so we're going to provide say right. What is there? As the right, we are going to be giving here maybe around 14 pixels. This one, check out. Great. Now we have something here smaller. I think when we look at also the other one there, it must be having the same thing here. Good. We have this smaller one here. So having done that, before I maybe change this color, let me go ahead and do the same styling here for after pseudo element or this pseudo class here. Let's write there after. So after is that, and what happens if we save it? We're going to have the same thing, but only that we have not changed these properties. It's going to just be stacking up together. Now we can just spread it by having a different positioning in terms of after. Now what is that? Different position in terms of after. I think it's going to be this will be left, and the other one should be, instead of top, it must be in the bottom. Now let's try to save and see. Good. So we have them there in their right positions. Now one thing we have to do in order for us to have something here, when you look at our finished project here, we have a background of some nice blue there. So we need to provide the same color of the background, that blue, and also at the same time we also provide the same background to this black appearing thing we just created here in order to match that's what we had earlier on in our finished project. So let's get back into our background, our body, and we have something right there. We say background color. Now what is that background color we're going to provide there? We're going to use some hexadecimal. I said it was blue, so we're going to use hexadecimal of 9A, then BDFF. Here we have that. If you save it around, you can see we have something nice already created there. Now we're going to copy the same thing here, and then we're going to replace our color which we had earlier here in our black to match with the background color. Now by doing so, we shall have our blue applied to these positions, and we'll have covered off. Great. So we are done with our styling of the heading, but one thing you can see, there's no positioning here, and since we're going to have some shadow here, we need to push this thing a little bit up. Now we're going to give some position, some margin around the space outside the element is called margin. So we're going to give around our element here of heading. Where is heading? Heading is up here, so we can come back here and insert margin top, and that should be in terms of a negative, because when you give a positive value, it's going to push it far from the margin, but if you give it a negative, it's going to pull it nearer. Now like that, I think we have seen some effect there, and we maybe add a little bit of another 10 more to make 40 negative. Yeah, so I think we're good there. And also we need to give some space between here. Perhaps let's have something like around there. Margin also bottom, and that margin bottom should be, let's try also negative. So this time around we want to push this one away. We're going to have a positive number given that. So we have 40 pixels, and we have that space already created. Now since we're already finished with our styling of the heading, we can move on and style also the clock here. And what is our CSS class of this clock? I think it's this parent. If you want to see where it ends, you click there, and both the two opening and closing divs will be shown clearly. Now we have this, we can double click on it and copy and get back there. I think we can create another comment there. So we can say this comment will be for clock. Now once we create that, we can paste whatever we copied from our HTML file and say class. So we start with dot, and then we paste in what we copied earlier on, and open and close curly braces, and have our styling also given there. We needed a width of 100, a width of 280 pixels. So we also need a height. It's going to be a square, so let's write this one here to be height, and that height is going to be 280. When we save it, nothing happens. Why? Because we have not provided some background color for this. So right away we need to provide background color. And what color are we interested to give here? We're going to give some interesting color here. That's going to be some gray, and this gray is going to be 9A. What next? Maybe 9B. Let's be 9B. 9B. Yeah, that gray. When you save it, you should be able to see some color around here. Good. So we have our color there right away. And the next thing here, when we look at also this same project here, we have some space around here. And before we look at, we said it was called padding, so we also need to provide some padding here to have that nice look. And this padding will be some space of around, should we say 30? I think 30 might be good, or 20. I think let's try 20 and see how it looks. Yeah, something's coming up. 20. Okay, I think there's something we did not put it right here. What is that? Let's get back to our clock. Where is our clock? This image here. We can say this one should be 100% of our container. So 100% of our container. Same here. Now let's save and see. Good. So inside there is already taking 100% of our container. Now let's get back to the clock styling. And what next? We need some rounded corners around here. How do you get the rounded corners? It is through border radius. And what rounded corners are we going to give for our work here? I think let's try 30. Let's say 30 pixels. Yeah, great. It looks nice. 30 pixels can do. Now the next thing here, when we look at also here, we have some nice color here around here. This one is lighter and this one here is a little bit darker. So let's also do the same to our project here, and we come back down here, and the property we'll write here is going to be called box shadow. So it's right away here, sorry, box dash shadow is happening, box shadow. When we click there, and we're going to use insert. So to insert the meaning is going to have this shadow applied from outside and then offset from outside here, and you see how nice it's going to look like, as if something 3D protruding towards you. So what we have there, we are going to give according to the axis also of x-axis. This time is x-axis, and also 4 pixels, and then the third one is going to be a blur. So we're going to have blur of 15 pixels, and we're going to give a color. So this color is going to be something lighter, and what is that lighter color we are interested in giving? I think let us try white. Then we give there white with triple F, and the interesting thing with Visual Studio Code is the color will just appear right there as the preview, and when we save, we will be able to obtain exactly what we want to apply here. Now this one has been applied to mostly this side here, the upper side, and this one appears just like some light is shining on this side, and if there's light shining on this side, we assume this clock here is going to cast some shadow down here in this area and the other one. Now we're also going to continue by adding that techniques by providing some comma here, and we also give it in terms of insert. So let me bring it down here, and I have these words around here also. So insert, and this time we're going to use negative, so we're going to use -4 pixel, also under -4 pixel, they're going to be equal, and 15 pixels. So what color are we going to give there? We needed a dark color here, I think black can do. So let's write some black there. And how is black going to be presented? I think complete black may not be all that nice. Let's have some dark gray color. And what is that gray color? It's going to be our hash 313131. When we check around, we have our color here popping up, and when we save quickly, everything is looking perfect here. And one thing we can also see around here is we want to give this div here containing our image together with the handles that we're going to provide next, position relative, such that the handle and everything we're just going to have here will just be listening to the parent, and the parent is going to be our div of just finished styling here. So with this, we're going to provide here position of relative, and then nothing happens of course from there. And then the next one, we're going to have another after. What is that after going to be? We needed to provide some small circle inside our center here. Remember, we have some mark around, so let's provide also class of clock with pseudo class of after. And inside here, for this one, the parent is called, we have given it position of what? Relative. So here we're going to give an absolute position here by saying, first of all, giving the content to be empty also. So we have that content empty, and we now give it position to be absolute. And the next thing here, we want to have some width of 6 pixels, and then we also need to have some height of what? 6 pixels also. And next is going to be a color, so let's have some background of it. Which color we're going to use? So let's look at a color of maybe red. So a red color, I think in short form is going to be what? House F00. Good. So we have that. So far we have this element created somewhere here. Why is it created here? Because we have given a position here absolute, so we can move around everywhere within here. So how do you move it around? To bring it to the center, we can have it having some transform, and perhaps let's have it in terms of top 50%, and then next is going to be left also 50%. When you save it, you can see it's almost there in the middle, but it's not perfectly what? Aligned in the middle. So how do you perfectly align it? We use another property called what? Transform. So we're going to transform, translate. So inside there we have -50 along the x-axis, comma, also -50 for the y-axis. When you save it, it is perfectly aligned around there. Now the next thing we would do is having some index in it. What is the name of the index? It is will be the topmost. Remember, what you are creating here is going to be our clock here. When you look around, there is this little circle here, red, with some black thing. So that's what we are trying to create. To have us of all the 3 handles here, so it is at the topmost, especially in our second handle. So we are going to do that also. We are going to give it a Z index. So our Z index here will be the highest, so we can just give a random number, high number. So the rest will have a number less than that. Now when we go back and see, of course nothing happens because we did not provide many still here. But we want it to be circle. Remember, here is the square, so I want to make a circle, and the trick for making circle is the border radius. Now our radius here, we're going to give it 50%. So when we save it, we have that little circle there. Break X, going to give it also some border there, so we have the border, and that border I think to give here maybe 2 pixels, and solid and black. So that's what black is. We have 0, we are 10, we can come back, so we can close another page, which will be exactly our PS code. So now there is here, beautiful. So we have that. The next thing we would do, after we are done with our stylings for the after topmost element that will have our handles, the 3 handles there. So next, let us make some handle inside here of the hour, then minutes and seconds around. So we are going to have some styling which are going to be shared with the three. And what are they? Remember earlier on we positioned this one here, the parent we gave it relative, meaning anything we're going to create inside here is just going to be sent to this parent here, so we may not listen to the web page from outside, we may not go beyond that. Now what happened here is we're going to get from our HTML file these classes here. Now the first class is going to be handle. I think let's come with this handle here later. Is the other little thing up here, but let's just look at inside here our so let's select this, then we copy and take it back into our sheet. Now maybe you can give some comment around and say in this comment what we're going to have here, styling for one. So we're going to have let's say pointers So firstly, we need to have it set as a class by having our dot. Now here, since we're going to have the same styling for this set of rule, we'll separate it by having comma, then another one. So the other class was when you check around here, it was this minute, where you can double click and Control C to copy it and also bring it back here and paste it around there. So we do the same to the last one, which is minute. So I mean second. When we come back here, we have a class of what? Second. We can select it and also go back to our start sheet and paste it there. So you can see if I save my work, it will open itself once in this row kind of thing, I mean the column form. Now the next here we want to give our positioning. Since the parent was relative, we're going to give it what? Absolute here. So we have position what absolute. Now next we also to give some content, and the content is going to be empty. And what happened next? Let's create some more space here by having this thing taken up a little bit to appear clearly. Now what next here is going to be, we're going to give some height. This height is going to be what, 50 pixels. Now what next? Assuming we give some background color there. But do we need some background color? Just want to have the background color when you be styling in each of these ones. So these are the general resets that are going to be applied for all the three, but the others are going to be individual for each of those classes of the hour, minute, and second. So here the next I want to give this, we want to position top of 50%, and then left also 50%, and then next we need to transform them so that they really align at the center. We say transform, we translate this time around. So translate along x-axis of negative 50 degrees, comma, negative 100. For now, since I'm not given any color, we are not going to see them, but as we select them individually, it's going to appear clearly. So I'm also going to give some border radius, and the border radius will be determined by the width we're going to give to those elements. So 50% for the right top corner, like assuming this one is the first number, and then the next one is going to be also 50%. is going to be next this one, but the other one is going to be 0 for the element that we're going to be creating. So let's get back there and have some selection of completely. So let's get back there and have 0, and then also 0 around there. So again we are done with that. So let's select the number 1 to check out on what happened when we apply specific styling to each one of them. So we are starting the first one with an hour. Now this, I think we need to give this for pseudo element. So for the other one, let's copy each one of them and have our pseudo element of before. Copy this one. In fact, let's start here and position it inside here. Listen to this. You can cut the position inside there. Now what next else? I'll give them this one here. So what's left there? Let's give some height of 100% instead. And where is the 100%? I need to show you in a minute. Assuming I'm having here 100%. Also with the same. 100%. To show you, I need to give you some background color. So where is this background color? It's going to be like this by this color. That is what exactly what I'm about here. So for it to position exactly here, we need to give this one here 0, top 0 and left 0. So let's do that and have top 0. If you set it, you see it moving vertically up. Then now left also 0. Set it, you look over that. So that is what we mean by these are 3 different elements that are minute and second. So all of them are stacked around here. It has covered all what we had earlier on there, our parent. Now we don't need this, we just need to comment it out and it has just disappeared. If you like, you just leave it there. If you don't like, you can take it away. The short form is Ctrl X, so it's gone. Now we need it also to have some Z index so that it's a little bit up. So we can give the Z index of around. So it will be less than what we had earlier on. Maybe I can say 100. There's no problem with there. Let's check that it is below our little dot here. That is opening our color bar. And this one is right red. We have it there. What we don't need is right here, just only for testing to see how good we can put here. So yeah, so far so good. Now let's go to the pseudo element. We're going to do the same also corner. The next one is going to be we have also before. So the next one is going to be second, also before. So next, so far so good. We now proceed to the next one, and that's going to be the first pseudo element I've just selected here. We're taking them one by one. So we copy this and place it here. And what we have with it is also going to have some labeling of the width that we want it to appear. And let's try 4 pixels, and also height of, I think our hand is going to be shorter when we compare with the other two, so let's give some height here of around 55 pixels. And then we're going to have also content empty, and position absolute, and then let's give some background color for us to be able to see now. So the background color black and go now for that. Black is right here. Now perfect. We can see our little thumb for the hour is up. What next? I think we're done with that. We'll move to the next one, and the next one is going to be from also here. We can select this class and this to do element and paste down here. Also, we'll have our curly braces. So inside these curly braces, we're going to have some width of, now it's going to be a little bit thinner than the first one. So let's try 2 pixels, and then the height is going to be longer than this, so we're going to give some height of around 77 pixels. And then we're also going to have some content empty, and now position absolute, and then we're going to give some background color. Now this background color is going to be something like blue. Okay, let's try blue. And blue has some hexadecimal code of 00F. Something's wrong somewhere here. Yeah, that is our blue. Now when you save it, you can see it is stacking over here, and then I think let's give some Z index, but let's first finish all and then bring in, and then start speaking. The highest one will have the biggest Z in it, and the second one to the last one. So finally we have from up there, this second selection. Now what do we have there? Let's also paste and have some stylings for the second. The first one also the same, but we're going to have some width of, which is somehow smaller than the first two. And since the second one is 2 pixels, we're going to give 1 pixel for this one here. So let's have our first style of our width, 1 pixel. And what next? After the width 1 pixel, we need to have the height. This one is the longest one. I think I've written this style in longer side here. Let's go and bring it down here. So we said we're going to give this height to be 100 pixel. Apart from that, what next? We need to have content also empty and position of absolute, and then background color of red this time around, and right has hexadecimal F00. Let's save so far and see. Yeah, I think something is coming out well. And then we have to give some styling. Okay, let's give some z index of so let's say 40. Now the one for minutes will be 30. So the first element was this pseudo class up here. Now by default, normally our arrow here for the second has something here. Now since we had here a before pseudo element selected for, let us have another one which is going to be after, and this after here will provide for us that little background, one arrow on this side here. Now I'm going to duplicate the same thing by selecting here and shift alt down, then change this one to after pseudo element. Now it is going to have the same width, but the height is going to be smaller because we don't need it long. Just something small like around 32 pixels can do for us. Now let us save, and for now I'm not yet given some transform, and so we can only be able to see it. Content 0, nothing inside, and then position also absolute, and then the background color is already here. The Z index is going to remain the same with the main one we have up there. So let's give it top. You can see it is just here from the outside here, so I want to bring it inside there. Now we're saying top or 50%. Now it has jumped inside here, but it's confused up with the rest. We have to give it a left of 50%. This is how we can bring some element exactly to the middle, but to make it completely in the middle, we need to bring some transform. Translate -50%, also comma -50 again for x and y. So there we are. Now what next? We want to give the z index of maybe around 5. Let's say 5. Now, for now, there was some styling for them to really position themselves exactly like how the other three were done. We need to also add the same thing up in what we had earlier on for before. Before. Yeah, but this will appear like after. So we copy the whole of this and then we scroll up to find where the other three pseudo elements were given. So the same thing happens here also. So let's keep a comma, then we paste it there. So when we save, so everything is perfect. The next thing is our shadow from our HTML file. Shadow is having this class, so we can just simply copy it and go to our style sheet. And then we also start with our dot and paste it in our curly braces. Now we need to give some width of 200 I think, and 50 will do. Yes, and what height we're going to give, we can have some height of 20 pixel. Now out of this, now the next thing here is going to give some background color. So the background color is going to be the hairstyle, this one, or 4E, and that is the color. It's not that completely. Now you can see it has been formed around here, but from our project we saw that it is a little bit down. There's some space around here. I think we need to provide that space to make sure that it looks nicer. And what is that space we're going to provide? Let's give some bottom some margin from the bottom side, and say margin bottom, or so we say 30 pixels. Let's get back there. We're there already. And then after saving it, something is not happening. What is going on? Okay. Shadow, margin bottom, title. Something is not connecting well. Let's check out. This will be margin top, not bottom, because we are applying to the element itself, so we can say top. Now when you save, there must be the space created, and we have some border radius down. To have something looking realistic, we need to have some border radius. Let's check our project here. Our project, you can see something there. Good, so let's have some border radius created for that. What is that border radius we're going to provide? I think 50%. Yeah, let's give 50% to have something looking like an ellipse. Great, so you can see very sharp and does not look nice. So how do you make it look nice? We can make it by bringing in some property called filter, and under this filter we will use blur, and then in that blur bracket there, let's try around 3 pixels. So you can see it is fading out, but this one is prominent. It's looking, I think, not all that nice. So the best one there, we first need to increase that blur. Let's try 8 pixels. Yeah, white is looking nice, but I think the person would have been what? Let us try 10 pixels. Yeah, great. Some paint shadow around there, so it looks like this clock is casting some shadow down here. This is nice. So I think the next one here, we need to look at our header. So our header need to have some positioning around somewhere here, and see how it is going to look like. How do we organize it to have something nicer up there? Now it's not all that very difficult. So the next styling is going to be our handle up here. We have a class of handle which I've just copied up there. Now what next? We need to have some position of absolute, because the parent was position relative. So now next we need to give some height. I think a height of 50 pixels can do, and we need also to give some width. This width should be around 50, so that is something square 50. And we are also going to give some background color, and that background color should be of the same pattern like what we had earlier on. Something's not right. Background color, and what is that? It was what is happening? So what happened here is our background color is going to be with the hexadecimal 9 what 9b is right over here, and then let's try to save it and see. Yeah, it is the same color. You can see part of it is here, and then the other part is just the same, match up with what we have outside there. Now we need to give some positioning so that we see exactly where it's going to go. Let us give some positioning to the top, and we say if you're giving some positioning, you need to consider where exactly you want to take. If you're taking it up there, and then you give a negative so that you pushes it up. So let me give the negative 48 pixels when we save. We're going to see it up there, but that would not be the best position for it to be. We need it to be at the center, so you can say left positive 104 pixels, so that if you push it 114 pixels around there. Now let's save it and work and see what it's going to appear like. Sorry, refresh. So let's save it. Now VS Code, and it is up there appearing. That is good progress. The next should be, we need some border radius so that it appears round also, and this border radius should be 50%. So we have that nice circle created. Now the next one, we need to give some shadow again. So the shadow is normally given by box shadow property, and we are going to use inset 4 pixel, also another 4 pixel, and then 16 pixels as the blur effect, and the color should be white. Now we also need to give our site, like when we save it for now, we'll have it like this, and the white is almost overlapping here, but we need some small black around in that place. So we can give a comma and then perhaps enter to align it well, and we can also write insert, but this time it's going to be negative, so we say negative 4 pixel, again negative 4 pixel plus 10. This will be somehow smaller, not really all that dark, and the color we're giving for this one is going to be 64, which is this one, and let's try to save and see. Great, so we have some small dark here, and it appears realistic. And the next one here, we're done with the one up. I think we need something inside here. When we look at our project finish one, we have that, and then this is going to be appearing as if it is the background here, but we need to have some element created here. So for us to place this element, we need to obtain some we need to graph this class again, but we can use some pseudo element again to form our after. So we have that. 1 second. After. Now under this, we'll also give the content empty. After this content empty, we need to give some height. Height of 22 pixel. To duplicate this and have this one as width 22 again, and then we need to, I think it must be position also absolute to listen from that parent, which is with the class of handle. And then next there. So after this, we need to give some background color. What is the background color going to look like? We are going to give the background color of the background of the body. Let's see when we save it, it's going to give us. Good. So they are seeing it up here, and we're going to position it inside. Remember, we use position absolute, so we need to bring it inside here using left, right, and bottom, whatever, depends on which position we want to give it. Now for now, we're just going to say wanted left or 14 pixel. Let's see. Good. Let's come inside, and I think we need to push it down here, and as you come down, you're coming towards the bottom. You can say bottom, and what is that bottom going to be like? It's going to be 15 pixels. Now if we have the 15 pixels, perhaps try to save it, see what happens. I'm going to say push down, and here it is square, so we need to make it round also. So we have to come down here, 50%. So finally we have it there, but it does not look realistic. It looks like something positioned on top. So for it to look like something, a hole, we need to bring in shadow effect there. I think without wasting time, let's just copy this one here and change the colors later, and then come here and graph this and paste it here. So what color do you want there? I think white is going to work, and yeah, let's try the same. Great, but now I think we need that color back. So 6464. We need that color. This one here. Let's copy and give it there. Yeah, I think we have something like that. But is it looking nice? When we check our previous one, we have some nice shadow coming up there. So to have this thing looks exactly like what we have here, I think we don't need our inset for this third rule, so that we have something inside, just going inside. For inside, it looks like something protruding out, so here we just remove this one. Likewise here, and then when we save, we have something better here. What next? I think perfectly everything's done, but one simple thing we need to look at is going to be here. When you look at this handle, it is exactly at 90 degrees, but the image of the clock is somehow tilted a little bit, so we can go to this element of the image and have some rotation using transform property for this thing to align exactly. As you look at our clock here, you can see as it ticks, it really lands exactly on those marks. So we're going to do the same thing there by going to our top part where we hit image. So image should be around here. Good. So next we need to give some transform, and then we say rotate. Now we're rotated. Thank you very much for attending. To share this video as wide as possible, like it, and then hit that notification bell and subscribe to the channel for you to get more of these videos that will be coming your way as we look forward to look for part 2 of this project, where we're going to make these three handle of ours to move dynamically to just appear exactly like what we had there.